Well, thank you everybody for being here and coming out today. I think most everybody knows me, but I'm Marc Jr., the oldest of the three boys, and I thought I'd say a few things today in memory of Dad. But first of all, Mom, Braun, Cliff, and I, we truly do want to thank each of you for coming out to celebrate the life of Mom's husband and our dad on Good Friday. And today is good, right? Because it's Good Friday. I mean, when I was thinking about what I was going to say here, and I was thinking about being at my dad's memorial service on Good Friday, forever we have to think of the day that my dad passed away as Good Friday. And if we all know my dad, and I was speaking with some of his friends earlier, a friend of his, Mary in the back, about how funny Dad was. Dad knew what he was doing when he personally selected the day he wanted to go be with who he referred to as the big guy. And he told us all, I want to do it on Good Friday. And so we're here today remembering that guy on Good Friday, and it will forever be good. So there can be nothing bad about today, because we have to call today Good Friday. I mean, it was this time last year, and we come here today because we weren't able to do it last year. We're still there. We're still not out of the woods yet, but we were just starting the climb of the global pandemic and people at a record not getting along with each other. So Dad chose to do that, and now Dad's there, and he's there with the big guy. I want to talk to Dad for a minute, because I think about you every day, Dad, and I thought about how your first year in heaven must have gone. But we can all rest easy knowing you're once again healthy, you're once again happy, you're once again to walk around with no pain. And for Dad, as everyone pretty much here knows, we can go back to before my age of where I am now, and Dad was already in pain. So it was a long coming, it was a long deserved and long overdue time for Dad to be out of pain. So again, today's Good Friday. Dad's not in pain anymore. I want to turn to a few solid things that I took away from Dad. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was going to be a life-size picture, and it is like Dad sitting here with us right now. So when I look at it, I feel as though I am talking to you, Dad. So, Dad, you gave me a few solid things. You for sure taught me a love, a respect, and an understanding of our country, our freedoms, what's right, what's wrong, and you taught me respect. And I know I was probably, of the three boys, the hardest one to get through that last part. But you've given it to me, and hopefully I can give that to others throughout the rest of my life. You also gave us all something else, and at times it was really annoying. You gave us your humor. You see, Dad was silly. He would say funny things at sometimes not the appropriate times. But he did it because he was trying to lighten the situation. If he were here right now, that's what he'd be doing. He'd be lightening the situation. It's probably no surprise that when I think of some of the people that Dad worked with at Whirlpool over the years, and we get together at these gatherings for dinner or trade shows or wherever it was, they'd always say, your dad is so funny. He's just like David Letterman. And sometimes when you watch some of the old David Letterman, it's not the David Letterman with the beard down to here, but he looks and acts, and there are similar interactions. So there's times when I turn David Letterman on now, and it's like looking at Dad. Dad was also a solid athlete in his younger years. So to see a man that was a solid athlete go through the health and the things that he went through, it's taught me a lot of things. But like with any good athlete, over the years things crept up, and you could see when we'd start taking trips at a young boy, Dad struggled with walking at times, and he'd need to sit down, and he'd need to take extra breaks. And I'd get so irritated because we would never know how sick Dad felt because he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to make it about him. He didn't want to be anybody's burden. He'd put himself on a cane and get just a few feet, but he didn't want help. And he didn't want to make it about him. It's kind of funny looking back on it, and just kind of a cute story I thought of when I was putting my thoughts together, is it got to a point where most of everybody who knows Dad knows that his mobility got very, very deteriorated, and he still liked his martinis. And so every year at the holidays, we would have our martinis. But one of the most recent Christmases, before Dad got really sick, he had a few of his martinis, and he couldn't get to bed. And so all three of us boys had to get Dad with a big smile on his face back to bed. But I have a good memory of that because he just smiled and he laughed and he let us carry him to bed. Dad, as I said, I think of you often. I miss you. A few months after Dad passed away, I was clearing out voicemails on my phone, and I came across at least 15 to 20 voicemails from Dad. I've always, for whatever reason, had a distance to work. I don't like short drives to work, apparently. And I would have a minimum of 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, sometimes an hour and a half of time in the car. And almost every day, it was like he knew, as he was in retirement and I was coming home from work, I needed to hear from him. But sometimes I didn't want to talk to him, not because it was him, but because I had had that kind of a day. So I'd let it go to voicemail. Every one of those voicemails started the same way. Hey Marco, it's your dad. And I did not want anything. I know you're busy, but I sure just wanted to hear your voice. No less than 10 of those messages started that exact same way. And I just wanted to say thank you, Dad. Thanks for not giving up on me when I know I was the toughest of the three. I know I was the most challenging from a verbal standpoint, and at times I didn't keep my mouth shut. But thank you for calling to want to hear my voice. And looking back, I miss those calls more than anything. It was those calls where we'd cover the important things. Politics, Razorback athletics, my work day, my personal life, and just my banter. But looking back, Dad, we never talked about you. And I'm really sorry about that. I regret that. I'm finishing up here, but our days on Earth here are limited, and I would just say to everyone that they are short, and a lot of times are hard. But what Dad taught me the most out of everything is to be a role model and to be a representation of taking the problems, taking the challenges, because if there was something thrown to him from a health standpoint, he took it. And he still made the greatest lemonade out of the most sourest of lemons that you could find. And I thank you for showing me that, Dad. There's a couple long overdue recognitions today. We've got to identify first. This is you, Mom. Mimi. We know, but many have no idea how over 20 years of Dad's extended illnesses, surgeries, procedures affected and took their toll on you as well. I know you were Dad's best caregiver. The boys know that. The family knows that. We've all talked about it. Dad didn't have much of a voice at the end, but he had the loudest of voices in you. You were there to advocate for him and do what was right. And we know that took its toll on you, so thank you for doing that and not giving up. It was Dad's, one of his last gift to you was your birthday, March 12th of last year, and you went into the center before they put the block on being able to go into the caregiving centers. And you know, my last picture of you and Dad together, it's his card saying, "Happy birthday, Mimi. You're amazing." in his handwriting. So, Mimi, you're amazing. Take that from Dad. And last, to Braun, which you did last year that the rest of us couldn't. You flew across the country. I love you. We love you. We thank you. You spent Dad's last few hours with him. And you watched his last breath. I know you comforted Dad in his final moments as he left us and entered heaven. So thank you. So today, Good Friday, we remember you, Dad. I only wish we could do one thing. I wish we could walk over there, go sit and have just one last frozen cold martini. So cold that you could go skating on top, as you would tell the bartender. You wanted to ice skate on top of that thing. But we had to get the blue cheese